to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kiru's show here. Now then, whenever we last left off, we just got done with the entrance exam. And Deku, and Telly, and Momo all got accepted into UA. Now then, let us skip that week. Aside from just the regular bone-wrenching and very exhausting training Sebastian will put them through, this is when we will come to UA. Now, they are walking through the door, and this is whenever Deku, he would open the door and people would see him, and there's just a lot of people staring at him. And this is whenever Uraka would come running up, and she would actually ask Deku one question. Hi, well, she would just introduce herself saying, "Hi, my name is Uraka, Ochako Uraka, or Uraka Ochako." I think I will figure that out later. But anyway, she would just introduce herself and ask Deku what his quirk is, because from what she saw, it was quite impressive. This is whenever another person would speak up, and let's say that this is Ibarra, for the sake of it. She would just say that impressive doesn't even compare to what they saw. Ito would actually say that he's got to say for essentially he would run up and apologize, saying that he's really sorry for what he did during the entrance exam, but also the fact that the way he saw him take out that 0-pointer was amazing. Bakugo would hear about this, and he would just say that doesn't matter because he still scored the highest. This is whenever people would speak up saying, actually, he scored the highest in both categories. And this is whenever Bakugo would just basically shout, "What?" So, as he walks up to Deku saying, "What makes you so impressive then?" Well, first off, he basically stopped the 0-pointer's hand with no effort. He actually punched it clean off. Everyone's impressed, as someone would then say that that's not even the most of it. He literally threw it over on its side. Ah, yes, well, it was no effort, really. That accent. Where are you from, exactly? Ah, yes, well, I'm actually from... I don't remember. I do know that I was born in a cabin somewhere in Europe, but that is very ambiguous. I believe, there's Berlin, Italy, England. As Deku goes off naming quite a bit of places, people are impressed at where he's been his entire life, finally landing at Japan. They would just start asking more questions about him, as Deku just continues answering. Along with the question Todoroki hears about his quirk. Deku would just say that his quirk is actually quite impressive. He just calls it perfectionist. Bakugo speaks up, saying that it cannot be that impressive, because from what he sees, you're just some jackass wearing a pair of gloves. And then you got eye patch here. As he just brings his hand up to point, Deku just immediately just grabs his hand with 2 fingers and points it upwards. Bakugo's kind of impressed, because he didn't even see his hand move. But he just holds that back. Just pulling, basically trying to smack his hand away, as he would just say, "Don't touch him." Aizawa would just pop up saying that you guys are all annoying, and this has been a very big waste of time. Now then, We are not going to be going to the morning assembly. In fact, you guys are going to be doing a physical exam. The one who comes in last will be expelled. As you just see Mineta in the back, basically staring at Intelli and Momo. Deku immediately turns his head and glares at Mineta, which Mineta falls out of his chair. Now then, in the locker rooms, Deku and everyone else is getting changed. Deku hears quite a bit of commotion. He turns his head, and this is whenever Kirishima is actually asking Deku what kind of workouts he does. Because he doesn't look that muscular, but if he was able to basically throw around the 0 pointer, then that means he's got to be pretty strong, right? Yes, actually, I am. Okay, then what's your max rep? Um, I'm not sure exactly. The weights we provide at the mansion aren't really all that heavy. But I can tell you though that my warm-ups are usually about 300 to 400 pounds. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. As you hear Kaminari, Sero, and Mineta actually talking, Deku immediately hears their whispering, and Mineta is about to peek his eye through the wall. As he's about to do so, Deku, he immediately just moves faster than the eye can see, putting his hand up. Which is whenever Jiro, she would immediately stop her earbud from plugging into Deku's hand, as you just hear Deku just say, "Well now." That is not very gentlemanly, as his eyes turn more feline-like, and he actually is staring down these three. These three immediately just try not to piss themselves out of fear, as Deku just tells them to get dressed, otherwise, if this happens again, he will not be holding back. The girls in the girls' locker room are actually talking, and Jiro is actually bringing up that, so Deku is a gentleman. Well, actually, he is. Oh, your name's Intelli, right? Yes. So, how do you know him? He's a butler at my house. Really? So, you and Yaoyorozu are both rich, right? Yeah, but that's not really anything. Well, I can tell, but he's kind of weird though. How? His quirk is perfectionist, and he acts very gentlemanly, but he also acts very strong, and from what I can tell, he very much scared those three. Yeah, that's just him. Okay. Now, as that happens, they would all walk out, and Deku would be handed the ball. Aizawa would just say, "You, Midoriya, you scored the highest in both categories, getting 100% on the test, and getting over 300 points, along with getting 90 to getting about 40 to 90 rescue points. All I know is they deducted a couple since you basically toppled a building." Oh. Well, I'm sorry, it's just, I did know that there were no civilians around. Even then, anyone behind the 0 pointer would have been in danger. Oh. Kinda smart. Knows no civilians were in the building, but if any were behind the robot, they would be damaged. Anyways, throw the ball, kid. Oh, alright. As Deku just lobs his arm back, and he goes to throw the ball. Aizawa goes to try and cancel his quirk, but that does not work. As Deku just immediately just lobs the ball, it goes about, over 1,000 feet, or 1,000 meters. Aizawa's impressed, but he's also saying that, okay, well, I tried canceling your quirk. So, either that's physical strength, or I cannot cancel it. Oh, dude, would you like me to get more serious? What? You know what? If you can throw it farther than that, then try it. I'm really interested to see how far you can go. Ah, yes, very well. As Deku just winds up with the ball, all you see is his eyes glow as he immediately just lobs it as hard as he can, creating a sound wave nearly blowing all the windows off of the building. As the ball goes flying, I want to say Deku, or let's see. From what I've seen in Black Butler, or can remember, I want to say Deku could at least throw it probably somewhere around the upper atmosphere, but I wouldn't qualify him as infinite. Because throwing it that hard, well, yeah, I guess I can qualify him as infinite, but I'm going to feel bad about it. So, let's qualify it as infinite. Now then. For the 50-meter dash, people are just watching Deku as All Might, well, not All Might, Aizawa immediately says go, and Deku immediately just blitzes everybody, getting 1 second flat. As that happens, people are in shock as Ida still is about to take off. Now then, for the group test, he actually breaks the machine, and yada yada. For the 50-meter dash, or not 50-meter dash, but for every other category, he scores first. And this is whenever Aizawa would just say, Mineta is expelled. Now, after that, this is whenever... Let's see, this is whenever Shinsho would be brought into Class 1A, replacing Mineta. Yeah, actually, I think it was... Yeah, I think I know how the class roster is. It's Deku, or not Deku, but Intelli's replacing Aiyama, and I do want to say that since Invisible Girl and Mineta are less combat physical, then Kendo or Ibara would be able to be placed in Class 1A, since they are very offensive. I'm gonna have to figure that timeline out. Anyways, afterwards, this is whenever All Might would arrive, or some time would pass, and they would be told that they are going to be doing a Heroes vs. Villains exam. Afterward, this is going to be Deku and Intelli versus Momo and Todoroki. Now, Todoroki and Momo are actually the villains, while Deku and Intelli are actually the heroes. I do believe I have a picture, so hang on. This is a picture I found, and I want to say Deku would be wearing something similar to it, just without like the handcuffs or like the choker, along with like this black jacket right here. It was a really cool picture, and I really did like it, so hang on. Okay. That was a really cool picture, and I actually did like it, so I did pick it for this. I already said that, but I'm just saying, I've had to go through a lot of the internet to try and find my pictures so that I can get them back, because with them being on my old phone, I can't post them in my Discord and get them with my new phone, since you can only be logged into Discord through one device. Now then. Todoroki, as soon as, Momo's hero outfit, someone did tell me something about it. I believe it was I remember it being 22. I'll have to look through the comments after this and figure that out in the next video. But Intelli's would basically be... She'd be someone in like a black bodysuit, but she would also have this support item and a utility belt, along with the fact that she has this basically gun at her side that she basically can pull off with a magnet, along with an actual launcher on her back. So people are actually really intrigued and asking her about that. And she would just say that her quirk is intelligence, but she's actually made all these gadgets by designing them. And that Momo and Deku, basically, they've all been training for this last year and have actually been working on these for a long time. Now then, the heroes versus villains will begin as everyone got set up. Todoroki would immediately just try blanketing everything in ice, as Deku would walk into the building and he would see all these. People are just thinking, how are they going to get through? As Deku just starts doing one thing. He actually starts just breathing fire. Now, people have said in the comments that Deku or Sebastian can manipulate fire and control it. I know that, but it's just, I've been saving it for this part. Now, Deku just starts manipulating fire and actually just burning away at all the ice, and Todoroki can somewhat feel the building warming up. Until he's confused as to why Deku's never used this before, and he just says that he only uses it to add an extra kick to her tea. In fact, he does. It's one of the abilities it's hard to train. Now then, as that's happening, Deku is burning through all the ice as they begin making their way up. Momo is making her way down through another staircase in the building, and they are actually just beginning to fight. As Intelli basically has this launcher in her hand, she's basically sweeping through the corridors and trying to make sure to see who's where. She already knows about Deku since he's in front of her, but for this, she is just sweeping through corridor as they make their way up the building. Momo is actually hiding, and let's say that she actually but she's actually somewhat able to keep herself balanced in the air, and they'd be going through. As soon as they have the idea to come through the stairwell and actually start making their way up the next floor, Momo would immediately just try and blitzing Deku, and she actually would be right in front of him, about to throw an uppercut. As soon as she'd bring her arm forward, Deku would immediately have to turn his fire off as he actually does sweep backwards. People think that she punched him, but as Deku's coming up, he would actually bring his leg up, kicking Momo right in the chin, as she goes flying upwards, almost going over the railing. She would immediately recover and jump off the wall as she begins trying to fight with them. As this is going on, she actually was going to make a staff or something, but knowing Deku, she thinks that he can just break it. Now, while this is going on, Todoroki is still waiting at the bomb, thinking that his ice has done the job. As he immediately just feels the building shake for a minute, he's thinking that, okay, so maybe not. As that was Deku and Momo taking a tumble through a wall. This is whenever Deku, he would actually just, he would curl his fingers and actually fight with the palm of his hands, basically I don't know the best way to put it, there's a certain fighting style about it, but he'd be doing this, and he's actually fighting and hitting Momo like this. And this is whenever he would actually hit her and then back away, and until he would actually fire the Bolos grenade. People are watching thinking that that's not going to do anything, as it wraps around Momo, and it actually completely encases her. Until he just tells her not to get back up, and Momo immediately would just try breaking through it. Actually having quite a bit of trouble until she brings herself up to 30%, where she can just rip through it very easily. Deku would just sigh, and he immediately just basically blitzes her as he goes to hit her. As soon as that happens, Deku would immediately just stop right in front of her as he just jumps out of the way, and Intelli is firing off her sticky grenades. This immediately just sticks Momo's legs to the ground as she's still trying to move. She actually turns full cowling. I'm gonna have to take my allergy medicine after this. My nose got stuffy and I basically almost coughed trying to say full cowling. Now then, she's trying to move, and as soon as she brings herself up to 30%, even further, she's still not able to move. until he just completely encases her in this as it begins drying. When that happens, Momo is completely immobile. She's trying to essentially reach her communicator to tell Todoroki that she's out of the fight, but All Might already informed him. Now, Todoroki's begun making his way down, as until he would see him, she would immediately just lob a fire grenade at him, knowing that she's only ever seen him use one side of his quirk. Now, as soon as that would happen, Todoroki would basically go to dodge it, but as the fire sweeps through the entire corridor, Deku basically just jumps on top of Intelli, covering her, protecting her from the fire. All Might immediately just wants to break up the fight, as Deku, it is shown that he is perfectly fine, and the fire that was supposed to encase him is actually flowing around him. People are confused as Deku basically just brings his hands out, making a bigger pathway of, well, basically a bigger area of protection from the fire, as he turns around and actually starts walking towards Todoroki. Now, Todoroki would see Deku as he opens his eyes, and Deku's eyes are glowing as he tells Todoroki that he stands no chance, and he should just try going all out. Otherwise, you will lose. But I doubt you would win anyway. Todoroki, out of pure fear, he just starts trying to blast Deku with fire, as he's just thinking that he can still fight against Endeavor, can't he? Can't he? As Deku, he basically just manipulates the fire straight back at Todoroki, and he actually comes in, punching him in the face, knocking him through the wall, as he is now trying to hang on from falling out of the building. Deku would just grab Todoroki by the arm, pulling him back in, but he would just knock him to the ground, basically knocking him out, as they would go up the stairs and actually just be declared the winners of the battle. Now then, that is where I'm going to be leaving this part off of, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys later. That is not how I wanted that to go.